This video is on 7 things I wish they would have told me at my graduation. You know, they have like the commencement speaker who come in and say like, oh, this, work harder and follow your dreams, and a bunch of other general ideas that aren't actually that helpful or practical. I read an article that was talking about like commencement speeches, and I thought, well, what would my like best tips or ideas or things that I wish I would have heard years ago as a young guy? And I mean, I'm still pretty young, but I'm not like an old man here, but here are my top 7 things that I would have liked to have heard. Number 1 is to make decisions in terms of regret minimization. So this is a concept that I had started to think about because when I was graduating high school at 18, everyone would tell me like, oh, you should go like see the world, or you should go do things while you're young. You'll only be young once, and then you're gonna have like a family, and you're gonna have all these responsibilities, and you're gonna have a job, and you have all these different things. So like, go do something crazy. But what I noticed when I looked around is that like, none of these people had ever really done that. Like most of the adults saying that weren't speaking from experience. I think they were just like feeling like they had missed out. So I said, okay, maybe I should think about it this way. Instead of just making the decisions about like, what should I do? Or like, what do I think is the best thing to do? I said, what will I regret the least? And so I thought about like, well, what if I just like went and traveled the world for a year, and like, I don't need a lot of money to do it. I just need plane tickets and a couple of places to stay. I said, well, even if it doesn't go that well, will I ever regret having done that? What's more likely? If I'm a 65-year-old man and I look back on my life and say, man, I wish I would have like traveled or seen the world or done more of an unusual thing. Or do you think I'm gonna look back and be like, I wish I would have just worked more. I would have worked an extra few years. Probably you're less likely to regret having had that like unique experience. So that's what I did before college. I took a gap year, tried to travel the world. After college, I took another kind of gap, like half year, and went and lived as a Zen monk. And to be honest, those were 2 of like the best life decisions I ever made. Because instead of just trying to figure out like, what should I do with my life, which is like really hard to do, sometimes think of decisions around what will I regret the least. Now, I kind of like thought of this, but I also saw an interview with Jeff Bezos talking about it. And I know that if I tell you I thought of it and Jeff Bezos stole it from me, you're not going to believe me. So I'll just give credit to Jeff Bezos. But he said this was the same mentality he used to start Amazon. He's like, he was making like hundreds of $1,000s a year working on Wall Street. I don't know if a lot of people know that. And he was like, okay, well, I could go and try to start this crazy online bookstore, and if it fails, I lost 2 years and I go back to work. But what if I don't try it? Well, the odds are pretty high that as a 60, 70-year-old person, he'd look back and be like, man, I never gave that business a shot. Obviously, we see how that worked out. So that's number 1, whether it's business, whether it's happiness, whether it's relationships, whether it's experiences and taking the unusual path. I would encourage you to think about minimizing regrets. Number 2, the more you seek the uncomfortable, the more you will become comfortable. This is something I had to learn the hard way, because when I was living abroad that year, I like basically got dropped into a place. I didn't speak Spanish, and the person I was staying with basically said, you need to learn Spanish. So I'm going to tell everyone it is prohibited to speak English to you. So every day I was trying to like interact with these strangers that I had no ability to talk. And like, if you've ever tried to learn a language, it's like super awkward and makes you really anxious and self-conscious at all times, because you're like talking to someone and it's like, I literally don't understand anything you're saying. So I did that, and what I realized is like every day as I got more uncomfortable, like again and again and again, I kind of just got used to it. And by the time I got back to the US, I felt like I was like a social butterfly. Like, not that I'm like that out there, but like I could literally just go up and talk to a stranger. I could talk to like make a phone call, like do anything. All these things that sometimes for people create a bit of social anxiety, to me just seem to come so much more naturally. And so what I realized is, you can imagine if you have a cup of coffee every day, after like a few weeks, you're just not going to feel it as much, right? If you go for a run for 5 miles every day, after like a couple months, like 5 miles wouldn't be so hard. Anxiety, discomfort, uncertainty, it's the same thing. If you can put yourself into situations like, hey, once a day I'm gonna go talk to a stranger. Once a day I'm gonna go give someone a compliment. Once a week I'm gonna go to this like theater group where I can like speak in front of people because I'm really nervous about public speaking. Like whatever your thing is, if you just seek out that discomfort again and again and again, you will become more confident and comfortable. And so I would encourage you to have some sort of daily or weekly like challenge even, where you just do something that makes yourself a little bit uncomfortable and watch how that changes over time. Okay, number 3 is more of a practical life hack. If you want a dog or cat, but you aren't ready to like actually be a pet owner, you can volunteer as a dog or cat socializer. So just about any like humane shelter or animal shelter society, like you take like a 2-hour little like class they make you do, super basic stuff, but then you can just go in whenever you want and play with the dogs or play with the cats or both, or however you want to do it if you're a cat or dog person. I'm more of a dog person, but whatever. So right there, if you're not ready to be a pet owner, that is like, to me, a huge happiness hack, because you can still like get a bunch of the benefit of that without actually having to make that huge commitment, especially maybe if you're in your like younger years or living in a city or something. Number 4, you can do anything, but not everything. You know, when I was in college, I wanted to like triple major. And now even with my business, I struggle with this because I do speaking, I do coaching, I do teaching, I do online content, I do YouTube. And I'm like, okay, I think I need to do fewer things, because here's the reality. I'll just talk about it in my experience because that's what's most top of mind, is if I like really dedicated the next year of my life to it, I could probably be like pretty huge on YouTube. If I just dedicated myself to speaking at conferences, I could probably really grow that. If I said I'm gonna be the world's greatest one-to-one life coach, that might be a little harder, but I think I could do it. The problem is if you try to do each one of these things, you're gonna like move along really, really slowly, because it's just so hard to compete with other people and see these opportunities and develop your skills and all these different things. So that's something I'd encourage you to think about, is like, if you think you can just follow your dreams and do everything, that's not realistic. But if you're willing to specialize and focus and say no to a lot of other things and pick maybe one thing or 2 things, odds are you can probably do just about anything. Number 5, college is optional. I wish someone would have told me this. I mean, I went to college, I had a full scholarship, so it was great, it was fine, it ended up good. I created my happiness major, which led me to doing the work I'm doing now. But I almost just never considered, like, if I wanted to be, for example, an entrepreneur, college would be a total waste of time. Just go find someone who's already running a successful business and ask if you can just apprentice under them for like a couple years, and I guarantee you will learn more about running, buying, selling businesses than like anything you're gonna get in college. Same thing at this point, even I think if you like really wanted to get into like marketing or sales, like I would just go get a job with like a mentor who does that at a really, really high level. And what I've found a lot of times is if you go to people who are really successful in something and you just are a young person and you like genuinely want to learn from them, like they will help you along and accelerate your growth, accelerate your sort of journey way, way faster than college ever will. Now, if you want to be a doctor, lawyer, engineer, yeah, I mean, you probably got to go to college. I'm not trying to diss it. But the final thought on this as well is that there is a huge, huge, huge demand right now for skilled trades. So like plumbing, HVAC, electrician, carpenter, trucking. These are careers that aren't really like that glamorous in a lot of ways, at least how we think about them in society. But the fact is, if you look at the market for like lawyers, basically like it's going down year after year after year because there's so many of them. On the other side, the skilled trades, there's estimates that in a few years, there's going to be like 15 open positions for every 1 person in the workforce. So something to think about if I were younger, go back over, is skipping the steps of college unless I had a really good reason to. Okay. So number 6, right? Anxiety is a disease of the future. Depression is a disease of the past. You know, so often we're told to think positive or like be positive and be optimistic or don't get down. And then it's like, if you are feeling anxious or a bit of depression, like maybe you need to go take some pills or something, right? Like, and that's fine. I'm not trying to like diss proper mental health care, but there's something to be said for understanding how those emotional states arise. Anxiety typically comes when you're living in the future. Think about it. Well, what are those people going to say about me? What's going to happen tomorrow? What's going to happen this week? Is everything okay? I have so many things I need to get done. You're sort of jumping into the future. Feeling down and depressed often goes the other way. You think about, oh man, I should have done more. I should have done better. When I think about like who I am and my life up to this point, like it's not good enough. So if you can practice being where your feet are, which is really what mindfulness and meditation are all about, that ability to be more present in each and every moment, it may just help you to deal with those emotions of feeling down or feeling anxious. And when those emotions arise, you can engage in some practice that brings you back to what you're doing in the here and now. And often, it's not like a total magic wand or something, but often that will help you to feel better. Okay, where are we at? Last one here. I may have skipped around a little bit, but I'm going to go with this one. Prioritize your relationships above all else. And what I mean by that is literally when you're thinking about like your big life and career decisions, oftentimes it's kind of like when I decided where I was going to go to college, I was between Vanderbilt and University of Alabama. And I was like, two of my best friends are going to Alabama, even though it's like not as good of a school. That was true at the time. Now I think it's better. Like, I was like, I have 2 years more with my best friends. Like, obviously I should do that. And I think a lot of times though, if you were to tell people you went to college at a certain place, or you took a job at a certain place, or you moved back home because you wanted to be closer to your childhood friends, people almost give you something like, oh, well, you're like not like doing it right, or you're like not following you're like not maximizing your potential or something. I'm here to tell you that's total BS. The number one predictor of your happiness and health over your lifetime is the quality of your relationships. So if you're from a small town or a hometown or something where you really didn't feel like you had the social circle you needed, or that the people were kind of bringing you down and you wanted something different for your life, by all means, move away, do your own thing 100%. But on the other hand, if you have a few close friends, or you have family back home, or you have kind of a community or a tribe that's important to you, and you're faced with an opportunity to pursue money or career or success or status over those things, I think that that is a big mistake. I personally I passed up on some really incredible opportunities to do work on Wall Street, or like go do consulting in Dallas, because I wanted to come back home and be around my friends. And I can tell you from firsthand experience, best decision I've ever made. So I want you in this mini commencement address to think about regret minimization. It's not just about trying to think, what should I do next, or what should I do with my life? It's about making decisions based on what you will least regret later in life. The more you seek the uncomfortable, the more you become comfortable. Do something to expose yourself regularly to feelings of discomfort, and it will help you be more comfortable and confident. I combined those two terms into confidentable. Be a dog or cat socializer. If you're not ready to own a pet, that's a major life hack. You can do anything, but not everything. College isn't right for everyone. There's often ways that you can skip steps to get ahead. Depression is a disease of the past. Anxiety is a disease of the future. So focus on living in the here and now. Learn to be where your feet are. And number 7, pursue relationships above all else. So thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, subscribe below, like it, comment, send me all of your money in the mail. No, I'm kidding. Don't do that. But you can donate to the Happiness PhD Project, which is my independent education and teaching initiative. More resources there. A bunch of them are free. Some of them you have to pay for, like my course. But you can go to happinessphd.com. If you're interested in working with me with coaching, or having me speak to your organization or your company, you can check out happinessmeansbusiness.com. If you're in the military or first responder, police, warriorleadertraining.com. And otherwise, I will see you next time. Thank you for watching. I wish you happiness and success. This has been your happiness nerd, Jackson Kerchis.